Today on the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement.
We are going to discuss how emotions play a large role in your retirement plan.
And on our Coach's Corner, we're going to go over how you could be sabotaging your retirement.
And on our Chalk Talk segment today, we're going to show you how to take charge of your financial future.
So sit back, relax, and learn. The Chad Slagle Show starts now.
I'm Chad Slagle. I believe financial planning is about educating people and empowering them to make better decisions with their hard-earned dollars. Coaching gives me satisfaction from watching a player succeed and get better. You need an experienced team around you. The best coaches have great assistant coaches. I have brought a lot of the techniques and structure I learned from playing and coaching football and apply them to the world of investing. My goal now is to coach as many individuals and families as I can on how to get successfully to and through retirement.
Welcome in, everyone, to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. I'm Wendy Erickson, here with the coach, Chad Slagle. Today on the Clipboard segment, we're going to discuss how emotions play a large role in retirement planning.
And really everything that we do, you know, Wendy, emotions control everything we do, and it's so easy to let past mistakes or the fear of failure hold us back. But you can't be afraid to give things a new try. You know, it's human nature to be anxious about the unknowns, but if you're not willing to put yourself in uncomfortable situations, you will never, ever get to a better place. You know, I see parents all the time now holding their kids back from trying out for sports teams when they're in 5th or 6th grade because they're afraid that they will fail. These parents are sabotaging their children's sports careers before they even start. Say your kid isn't the best on the team. Sports still teach kids so many life lessons: work ethic, how to overcome adversity, how to work under pressure. And I tell my kids all the time that your failures drive us to grow and do better. We've all had experiences in our lives when we're afraid to try something because we're afraid of the unknowns or ultimately of failing. And it's understandable that many people feel this way when it comes to retirement. This is a brand new chapter of your life you have never ever experienced before, and it's scary to take that first step and figure out how you can enjoy the type of retirement you've always dreamed of and how your money will work for you and last throughout the rest of your life. It's easy to make mistakes, and that's why you have to make sure that you create a plan for retirement, or while you still have your money sitting in your company 401k, even though you no longer work there. Many people allow their emotions and fear to hold them back from having a truly successful retirement. And today, we're going to go over the most common ways we see people sabotaging their retirement and how to overcome that sabotage.
You know, a lot of us have to learn things the hard way and not make those mistakes again. And I can relate to talking about kids. I have a daughter who had a little bit of an issue with being late to high school, and her sisters would report to me that she was driving a little fast, trying to make it up. And I would say to her, you've got to maybe prepare the night before, what books you need, what things you need to take to school. And she tried to make it up by driving a little faster to school in the morning. And guess what? She got pulled over by a police officer, and guess what? She finally decided maybe I should prepare a little bit before the night before so that I don't speed on the way to school. And me telling her as her mother didn't make a difference. She learned the hard way. So anyway, that is one life lesson, and we'll give her some, you know, she's a young person. Those of us who are approaching retirement, we don't want to learn things the hard way when it comes to running out of money when we're supposed to be enjoying our golden years. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
And again, as I mentioned, it's our failures that drive us and make good changes, not our successes. And you're telling that story, and I actually have a son that just turned 16 years of age, and it's amazing in 2 days how he changed from me taking him to school to him driving to school. Now he leaves on time, now he's there on time. But you're absolutely right. Sometimes the bad things that happen to us actually can be good things, and everything happens for a reason.
Learn from our mistakes. But hopefully we're going to prepare folks to not make those mistakes when it comes to retirement, because we've got the information today about how you can kind of deal with that overwhelming thought of preparing and planning for retirement.
Absolutely.
It's a big task. We know that. So when we return on the Coach's Corner, we are going to go over how you could be sabotaging your retirement and how not to do it. Stay with us. The number one concern of retirees today is outliving their hard-earned dollars.
It is more important now than ever to educate and empower yourself to make better decisions with your monies that it has taken you 30 to 40 years to accumulate. How do you do this? By using our financial GPS, our guided planning system. This is a 4-step process to help get you successfully to and through retirement. The first step in this process is to create clarity. Here we will help identify your goals as well as your concerns and identify what you want to accomplish in retirement. The second step, we will analyze the risk you're taking with your current portfolio, and this step will also identify exactly what you are paying in fees. In the third step, we will evaluate and assess your current plan and help identify the gap between the missing pieces. And in the fourth and final step, this is where we will work together to implement a plan of action to accomplish your retirement goals. And this process can take place at any one of our convenient locations, so call now to get set up on that right path on your journey through retirement.
Welcome back to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. We are back with the coach, Chad Slagle. And today on the Coach's Corner, we're going to discuss the many ways you may be sabotaging your retirement.
You know, Wendy, when we started working, probably around 20 years of age, for most of us, you likely started putting some money away for retirement. Over the years, you've watched that money grow, hopefully into a nice-sized nest egg. And now you're getting to the point where you need to make some important decisions and changes. You need to take that money you've worked the last 30, 40 years plus to accumulate and figure out how are you going to use that to get you all the way through retirement, or even to get you to the point where you can retire. And this is a very scary prospect for many people. You've been watching that nest egg grow for so long. Now you're scared to make any changes because you don't want to do anything to sacrifice the money you've worked so long to save. And there's so many uncertainties in our world today and so much information, it's hard to know the right way to move and what decisions to make. And we often meet with people who are in that exact situation. They have what we call decision paralysis. You get so much information and so many conflicting views and pieces of advice that you don't know what to do. So you get paralyzed and do absolutely nothing. Maybe you don't know what to do with that money, so you just sit on it. Or you leave the majority of it in the market making moves that can be very scary. But if you just sit there, you'll get run over or sabotage your retirement. That's what we want to go through today.
Change is definitely scary. I think a lot of us can relate to that, and we think, oh, I'll deal with it tomorrow. I'll deal with something like a retirement plan tomorrow. But the time is now. And my mom used to say, how do you eat an elephant? You take one bite at a time.
That's right.
I think I have that saying right. So we got to take little bites and kind of just, you'll get there.
Procrastination, right? Don't put off tomorrow what can be done
Human
today.
nature. So you've got some of the tips for us and what you're seeing with people who are
every day
not doing things the correct way, and maybe what you at home need to do it the right way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right. So what do you think? What would be the first? What is the first thing you see?
So number one, you have to maybe have that, maybe in your mind you have that magic number of $1 million in your head that you think you need to have saved for retirement, and you keep delaying and planning for retirement or setting on that retirement day because you haven't hit that goal yet. You want to get to that million. It is important to figure out how much you need, but everyone's number is going to be different. It all depends on what kind of lifestyle you want to have in retirement, how much income you need coming in to support that lifestyle. For some, that number may be $1 million, other it may be $5,000, others it may be $2 or $3 million. There's not an exact number for everyone. So you have to do your homework and figure out your specific situation. Do not assume you have to have this magic number of that $1 million, $2 or $3 million saved for retirement. And definitely do not wait until you saved up a certain amount of money. You need to start building that game plan now for what your retirement looks like for you. And again, as we talk about on this show all the time, Wendy, we're all different.
Right. All right. That's good to know. What's the next way that many retirees are sabotaging their future retirement?
Well, another way, because of where the economy's been the past year, another way many of you are likely unknowingly sabotaging your retirement is by not knowing what phase of life you're in or what phase of life you're going into. When you started working, your mindset was to grow at all costs, so a lot of your money has likely been sitting in the stock market. However, now that you're getting closer to retirement, you no longer have the time to make up for losses if the market were to take a big hit, like a 20 or 30, 40% correction. So you need to begin shifting some of those assets. You know, I recently met with a woman, and she had been watching the TV show and called in to meet with me, and she'd been planning on retiring at the beginning of 2021 with that $1 million in her nest egg. But when the market took a big hit in 2020, she lost over $200,000. So that $1 million very quickly, within a few weeks, became $800,000, and she had to completely change her game plan for retirement. And it's all because she didn't shift her assets away from that growth approach as she was getting closer to retirement.
How scary for her, definitely. I know that the growth phase is great. You're seeing your money grow. But the years are going by faster, and I'm getting older, and all of a sudden I'm like, wow, it is time to start shifting gears.
It is, and the thing you have to understand when it comes to your retirement planning is those 401ks, those brokerage accounts, that money you've been putting your money into, all that 30 to 40 years to get you to retirement, you needed that. The problem is if you continue to invest in the same way, once you get closer to retirement, those could be the same investments that blow you up in retirement. And we all know living through a pandemic makes it pretty easy to come up with excuses as to why you've not started planning for retirement, or you haven't gotten that second opinion on that game plan you've been questioning. Nowadays, it's pretty common to feel like you have no control. No one would have expected what has happened the last 2 years, a pandemic, mandates, rising taxes, inflation, a volatile stock market, and numerous natural disasters such as hurricanes and wildfires. In these uncertain times, planning for retirement may be the last thing on your mind, but unfortunately, your retirement is something you can control. And it's important to be proactive and control all of your financial future as soon as you can.
It would be great if we could predict the future and know what our futures have in, health issues or the perfect storm that we are experiencing now with the pandemic, but we don't have that. So I guess what you're saying is have the control.
Have the control and be proactive. Do not depend on the ups and downs in the market to control your retirement for the next 30 to 40 years. You, especially because of where the market is right now, you need to take control of that money and put these guardrails in place, if you will, so your retirement is not sabotaged and it's not up to the ups and downs in the markets what your retirement looks like.
All right. Well, so if people have questions about what the best way to handle some of these things are, Chad, what is the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, number one, of course, very simply, call us at the number below, 888-294-9248, to answer any questions you may have realized today or to schedule a complimentary consultation with an advisor at one of our offices.
And they can talk to you about their specific situation.
Absolutely.
All right. Stay with us. We will be right back.
Let's go.
He's such an involved dad. He's always telling the kids stories. I remember when so-and-so said I couldn't do this or I didn't make this team. That's what drives him. In our family, we always tell our kids to stick up for each other, stand behind one another. He feels it's his role to provide, keep us safe, and to make sure that the kids are taken care of. A lot of Chad's clients have the same traditional values, and he bonds with them. Each family has a different set of circumstances, and each family is unique and different. The common thread between all of Chad's clients is that they want the best for their family, just as he would our own family.
Welcome back in to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. So we just discussed how you might be sabotaging your retirement. Now we're going to show you how to avoid that by taking charge of your retirement.
You know, Wendy, a successful retirement doesn't just happen. It takes planning, commitment, savings, and action. You must, get on top of your financial plan now before things go beyond your control, like a 20, 30% drop in the market. According to the Department of Labor, only 40% of Americans have calculated how much they need to save for retirement. Now, it's never too late to create that game plan for retirement. Your emphasis as you develop your retirement plan should be to focus on the things you can control while protecting your plan from things you cannot. So today on the Chalk Talk segment, we want to go over the moves you can make now to take charge of your retirement. As we mentioned earlier, Wendy, you need to learn from your failures, not your successes.
Right.
What we're going to show you is some failures we've seen with other retirees so it does not happen to you.
And one of them was decision paralysis. Don't be paralyzed. Do something. And the new year is a great time, maybe whatever it takes you to take that step that we talked about, it being a scary step to make that plan.
It's funny. I mean, you could Google retirement planning, and they're going to tell you to do this. You could turn on a news station or a stock show, and they're going to tell you to do this with your money. You could go to a workshop, and they're going to tell you to do this with your money. As you get closer to retirement, you need to make a change. However, you get all this conflicting information pulling you in all different directions. What do? Absolutely nothing, which is the decision paralysis we've been talking about.
All right, so what's the first step?
Number one is to make sure that income, of course, for a lot of people is one of the most important factors in retirement, if not the most important. And it is the first thing you need to figure out when you decide to retire. And make sure you work with an advisor who can help you build a written retirement income plan. Not a maybe income plan, but a structured game plan that will work in all economic environments. Not just a plan in your head, one that is down on paper that you can come back to and make changes as life happens, as the markets change. A written retirement income plan shows you exactly how your money in retirement will provide a monthly income each and every month for the rest of your life and the rest of your spouse's life. It doesn't matter, what happens in the market. It doesn't matter what happens with interest rates, and it takes into consideration inflation and cost of living, and this plan is solid proof that your money can and will last throughout the rest of your life, no matter how long you live.
I know it always helps me to write things down in general, so I guess that makes sense as a good first step. Okay, so safeguard your assets is what you say is number two.
That's kind of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah.
Once you got that asset protected,
yeah,
right?
Right.
When you get close to retirement, you need to move away from that growth mindset that we talked about earlier. You've had the last 30 to 40 years to throw your money in the market. Over those years, you've had the time to recover when the market took a big hit. You were still working and still throwing money into that nest egg, so it really wasn't that big a deal. However, as you get closer to retirement, time is no longer on your side. This is the point when you need to begin safeguarding those assets. Now, if you lose 30 to 40% of your portfolio and it's protected, it's not a big deal. Why? Because you don't have that, it is a big deal, because now you don't have that new money coming in to make for those losses. I sit down with a lot of people all the time who are 3-5 years away from retirement and still have a large portion of their money at risk. And they don't even realize how detrimental a stock market dive, what that would mean for their retirement. Your focus now should be protecting that nest egg so it can provide for you in retirement. Because a lot of people today, Wendy, if you're sitting on that $1 million, $2 million, whatever that nest egg is, if you're close, if that money doubled, it probably wouldn't change your way of life. But if it was cut in half, what we find with a lot of retirees, it definitely would change your way of life.
And that would be not a good position to be in.
Not at all.
A hard position to be in. So, all right, what's your final tip to taking control of your retirement plan?
Number one is become the boss. Become the boss of your retirement. Like I said before, it's human nature to be anxious about the unknown. So it makes sense why so many people are anxious or fearful of retirement. And given the times we're living in, many people are unsure how they can protect their retirement savings. One of the best things you can do for retirement is take control. Being the boss of your retirement means hiring the right people to work for you. It's important to do your research and find a financial advisor, or better, a retirement specialist that is a good fit for your retirement goals. A recent Northwestern Mutual study found that 71% of U.S. adults admit their financial planning needs improvement. However, only 25% of Americans work with a financial advisor. When you sit down with an advisor, they will go over your risk tolerance, your income needs, your lifestyle goals, and these are three major things that will help you begin to build that game plan. Once you have these figured out, you can move on to building that income plan, and soon you will be on your way to a well-rounded plan and peace of mind in retirement. No matter what happens with the stock market, no matter what happens with interest rates or inflation, you have a proactive game plan and you're not reacting to the ups and downs of the market.
I like that. Become the boss.
Absolutely.
I want to be the boss.
And the other thing, today, Wendy, 20, 30 years ago, your employer would help you with the pension.
Yeah.
You have Social Security, right? But the days of the government or your employer taking care of you are gone. Now you need to be proactive and be the boss. Do not depend on somebody else to take care of you.
Or you might be sorry.
You might be sorry, that's right.
Take care of yourself. Good information. All right. And in order for those of you watching out there to make sure your retirement is on the right path, Slagle Financial has educational events coming up in your area. To sign up for one of these events, call the number below, 888-294-9248, a great resource. When we come back on the Strategy Play, Chad is going to show you some changes you should make to your portfolio as you approach retirement. We'll be right back.
The number one concern of retirees today is outliving their hard-earned dollars. It is more important now than ever to educate and empower yourself to make better decisions with your monies that it has taken you 30 to 40 years to accumulate. How do you do this? By using our Financial GPS, our guided planning system. This is a 4-step process to help get you successfully to and through retirement. The first step in this process is to create clarity. Here we will help identify your goals as well as your concerns and identify what you want to accomplish in retirement. The second step, we will analyze the risk you're taking with your current portfolio, and this step will also identify exactly what you are paying in fees. In the third step, we will evaluate and assess your current plan and help identify the gap between the missing pieces. And in the fourth and final step, this is where we will work together to implement a plan of action to accomplish your retirement goals. And this process can take place at any one of our convenient locations, so call now to get set up on that right path on your journey through retirement. Welcome back to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. On this week's Strategy Play, we're going to show you the importance of making changes to your portfolio as you get closer to retirement. If we take a look at your working years game plan, you see that you don't really need to have a team built up around you because you're working and you still have time on your side and you have that income stream coming in every month. So if we take a look at this here, this would be the opposition that you're up against as you're building that plan for retirement, or you're building that nest egg. You have the market risk, you have inflation, you have rising taxes and unknowns. And a lot of times with this money, it's really not that big a deal because you have time to make up for losses in the market. Inflation is going to change a lot over the next 30 to 40 years that you're working. We take, of course, a look at tax. Again, going to make a lot of changes in the next 30 to 40 years. You're really not drawing from this income. Hopefully, they're sitting in 401ks and retirement accounts. So there's really not a lot of tax consequences. And of course, we have the unknowns. So down here, of course, you're the quarterback of your accounts and what you're building for retirement. You have your 401k, maybe some bank accounts, and maybe some extra money in the stock market. However, what you need to understand, folks, when you're working and the risk that you're taking, it's not that big a deal. And these 401ks and retirement accounts that you've been pumping money into the past 30 to 40 years to get you to retirement are good vehicles to get you to retirement. The problem is, though, if you continue to invest in the same vehicles that got you to retirement, once you retire, those could be the same vehicles that blow you up in retirement. When it comes to your retirement years and your retirement game plan, you need to become the boss. You need to become the quarterback and make some important changes and decisions that will protect your hard-earned dollars. It's important to make sure that you have that retirement specialist. You have that protection against the opposition, and make sure you build an income stream that you can never outlive, while also planning for your income, your risk, what that may be. You have to think about your taxes. You have to think about that legacy that you want to leave to your children, your grandchildren, or your beneficiaries. And you also have to think about that health care. When you get to retirement, the risk of losing it all becomes much more real than it was during your working years. And you need to have a plan that is prepared to take on the opposition, to take on all the unknowns. Are you worried right now that you might be taking on too much risk? Do you need help shifting your game plan as you get closer to retirement or once you do retire? If so, I encourage you to give us a call today, and that's this week's Strategy Play.
To get more detailed information on these strategies and how they can work for you, call the team at Slagle Financial now to schedule your 5-point inspection. The number to call, 888-294-9248. We will be right back with some of the key takeaways from today's show.
I'm your host, the coach, Chad Slagle, and joining
I'll be with you guys in just a few minutes.
when it comes to your health, your life, your family, your home, and your hard-earned dollars, of course you want to make sure you're working with that sharp, energetic, knowledgeable individual that is always looking out for your best interest.
Such short notice, appreciate it. Thanks.
It's time to get your financial house in order. This is the new age of retirement planning. In the Wall Street world, that's what they talk about. You got to have
Now back into the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through
We
retirement.
are Slagle Financial. Call now, 888-294-9248.
Welcome back once again to the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through retirement. We've covered a lot of ground today. What would you say are some of the key takeaways, Chad?
Number one, don't let a magic number delay your retirement. There are many factors that determine how much you need to have saved in retirement, and they are different for everyone. Number two, build a written retirement income plan, one that is set up to get you to, but not only to, but also through retirement, has an income stream that will last throughout the rest of your life and the rest of your spouse's life, no matter how long either one of you live. And of course, number three, become the boss, become the coach of your financial future. Take charge of your retirement by finding the best advisor for your specific situation.
Don't become paralyzed by this big
Do
task
not get
either.
decision paralysis. That's right. You know, when you get close to retirement, changes need to be made. Changes sometimes are hard, but again, sometimes you have to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation, Wendy, to get to a better place.
And hopefully we've given you some tools today for that. Slagle Financial and their team of advisors, speaking of tools, have educational events coming up in your area to make sure you are prepared for today's retirement. To sign up for one of these events or to schedule a meeting with Slagle Financial's team of advisors, call 888-294-9248.
Remember, folks, success is waking up in the morning, whoever you are, wherever you are, no matter how old or young you are, and bounding out of bed because there's something out there that you love to do, that you believe in, that you're good at, and you can hardly wait to get at it again today. At Slagle Financial, we realize that this is bigger than our team. It's about educating you, the public, and our wonderful clients, and empowering you to make better decisions with your hard-earned dollars. For my co-host, Wendy Erickson, this is the coach, Chad Slagle. Thank you very much for joining us. We look forward to visiting with each and every one of you next week.
I'm your host, the coach, Chad Slagle, and joining
I'll be with you guys in just a few minutes.
When it comes to your health, your life, your family, your home, and your hard-earned dollars, of course you want to make sure you're working with that sharp, energetic, knowledgeable individual that is always looking out for your best interest.
such short notice, appreciate it. Thanks.
It's time to get your financial house in order. This is the new age of retirement planning. In the Wall Street world, that's what they talk about. You got to have
Now back into the Chad Slagle Show, coaching you to and through
We
retirement.
are Slagle Financial. Call now, 888-294-9248.